Live from downtown Macon, this is WGXA News live on YouTube.
Good evening, Middle Georgia. I'm Greg Lloyd. Amanda Peralta has the night off. Thanks for watching WGXA News at 5:30. We start things off with breaking news. The FBI has killed a man in Utah in connection to making threats against President Biden. Agents shot Craig Robertson in Provo on Wednesday, just hours before the president was expected to land. The shooting erupted when agents were trying to serve arrest and search warrants at Robertson's home around 6:15 this morning. Documents allege that Robertson referenced a presidential assassination. It also alleges that Robert made threats against Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland, and New York AG Letitia James. Biden is in the middle of a trip to the western United States. He spent Wednesday in New Mexico, where he spoke at a factory that will produce wind towers. The president is scheduled to fly into Utah later today. Tomorrow, Biden is expected to visit a Veterans Affairs hospital to talk about the PACT Act. We've dealt with severe weather in parts of the mid-state the first days of the week, and meteorologist Ryan Mirando joins us now with an update that the possibility of some severe thunderstorms tonight and the rest of the week are lingering.
Right, we're watching for this complex of storms that's right now moving through the Tennessee Valley. I think the trajectory of these storms will stay in portions of North Georgia, so not expecting a lot of severe weather tonight, but we could be getting some more activity as we head later into the week. Currently, though, it feels pretty hot outside. It feels like 103 in Montezuma and Fort Valley. It feels like 99 in Macon, 96 in Monticello, and 94 degrees. That feels like temperature in Eastman. Looking outside, it's not too bad with our Wilson Bryant Heating and Air Skycast Network overlooking downtown Macon and Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. We will be having some pretty calm conditions for tonight, and for the school day forecast tomorrow, we could have some sprinkles in the morning at the bus stop. 77 degrees by lunchtime, already into the upper 80s, and by the end of the day, partly cloudy, getting into the low 90s for tomorrow. So another hot day. Feels like temperatures could be back up into the triple digits. But what to expect for the rest of this work week? We're saying mostly dry for tonight, but storms are actually going to be making a time switch. I'll talk more about that. Plus, potentially when we could have more dangerous heat, all coming up in the full Sky Watch weather forecast. Greg.
Okay, thank you, Ryan. Well, the storms are to blame for a delayed start to school this morning in Truitland County. The district pushed back the start of class to 9 as crews worked to restore power throughout the county. Teachers and staff had to be at the school by 8:30 this morning. Buses did run, but the drivers didn't start their routes till at least around 7:30. We want to remind you, too, about the downloading the WGXA weather app to keep track of changing weather conditions. Just scan the QR code on your screen. It downloads straight to your smart device, absolutely free. Ryan is back in less than 20 minutes with your full forecast. Continuing coverage tonight of plans for a 4.5-mile rail spur in Hancock County despite community outcry. Property owners say the rail company is threatening eminent domain to run the track through their land. Our Gloria Ruth Finney is live in the studio after speaking with the rail company owner to tell us what he's saying about those latest plans.
Greg Ben Tarbutton is owner of the Sandersville Railroad Company. Despite what landowners tell me, Tarbutton says he's come to terms with some of them for the train he wants full steam ahead through their property. Plans for a Hancock County rail spur would allow for more granite to be shipped out from the Hanson Quarry after the spur linking with the CSX rail line. People have been fighting Sandersville Railroad's attempt to rip through their land and the land of their neighbors after they say Tarbutton slammed them with threats of using eminent domain to take their property if they won't agree to Tarbutton acquiring that land through fair market value.
It's going to be access to both sides of it through these folks' property. And so the enjoyment that they have now is not going to change. They're going to be able to get to both sides of their property. They're going to be able to hunt, fish, drive through it. If they're, into growing timber, they're going to be able to log over it. So, I mean, there's really not going to be any changes in the effective uses of their properties.
But property owners say it's not about change or about money. They simply don't want land they've owned for generations and plan to pass along themselves to be disturbed and taken by the railroad or for any purpose at all. I'll have more from my interview with Tarbutton as well as the legalities of property rights and eminent domain in Georgia tonight at 11 on ABC 16. Reporting live in the studio, Gloria Ruth Finney, WGXA News.
Okay, thank you so much, Gloria Ruth. And one of Bibb County's major property taxpayers is seeking an exemption from paying property taxes. Piedmont Hospital, which contributes millions to local schools and the county, is at the center of the issue. The hospital, along with Piedmont's North Macon campus, was acquired by Piedmont Healthcare in 2021, transitioning them from for-profit to nonprofit status. Piedmont recently applied for a property tax exemption for these hospitals, but that request was denied by the Macon-Bibb County Board of Tax Assessors. Piedmont is now appealing the decision. The hospital's change in ownership has sparked debate about tax exemptions for nonprofit hospitals and the community benefits they provide. Atrium Health Navicet is also a nonprofit hospital. It's already tax exempt. Well, the city of Warner Robins announced a key acquisition earlier today that will benefit the city's downtown development. Our Carlos Stevens was there for that announcement that was made just hours ago. Carlos joins us live tonight from the International City. And Carlos, I understand you were the only reporter to sit down and talk with the mayor about this historic announcement. And what did she tell you?
Well, Greg, she told me that the city now owns 60% of Commercial Circle, something she's calling major for the International City.
We want commercial retail at the bottom, some office spaces at the second level. We definitely want some patio, rooftop dining, and then residential up top.
That's what Warner Robins Mayor LaRonda Patrick and city leaders plan to do with the 7 new properties they have purchased. Patrick says those plans are all a part of the city's mission to redevelop the district of Commercial Circle, making it part of the Warner Robins downtown area. The city owned 1.63 acres at the beginning of her term, and now the mayor says that number has increased to 9.067 acres prior to today's closing. That equals 21 parcels, or now 60% of the entire circle.
Having that downtown identity is what we've been lacking.
Patrick expressed her dedication to action-oriented leadership, stating today's closing further solidified my vision for a striving downtown within the city limits for business to grow and our residents and visitors to enjoy. The collaboration of local, state, and federal entities played a role in securing the Georgia Brownfield designation for the newly acquired properties. Kate Hogan, Community and Economic Development Director for the City of Warner Robins, underscored the significance of the Georgia Brownfield program in revitalization efforts, particularly in the northeastern quadrant, guided by the Brownfield's Corrective Action Plan. Mayor Patrick says she supported Hogan through the process.
When the deals got really tough, I came to the table to negotiate on behalf of the city.
The city says the funds to purchase the properties came from the 2012-2018 SPLOST funds, costing the city $2 million. Millions of dollars that Patrick believes are well spent.
Me and those that come younger than me, they want to live, work, and play in the same area.
And Patrick says her and city leaders have put in countless hours to make sure the vision comes to reality. She says she's hoping to see work begin as early as 2026. Part of the work will start with tearing down buildings this year. Patrick says they're working to purchase more of Commercial Circle. The mayor says tenants with current leases with their businesses will not be affected. However, she says they did find one small hurdle, some contamination in the soil, but Patrick says it will be uprooted.
And we've entered into the Brownfields grant with the state, which is something that's going to help assist us with removing the contaminants from the soil.
In the meantime, Patrick says they will continue working on the future of the city of Warner Robins.
We are not going to pass the pen to let someone else tell us what we're going to do. We're going to be at the table working on this.
Now, during my sit down with the mayor earlier today, she also hinted at some more great news that could be coming to the International City. Of course, we'll be following that and bring you any new updates both on air and online at WGXA.tv. For now, we're live in Warner Robins. I'm Carlos Stevens, WGXA News.
Thank you, Carlos. Well, some lawmakers in Georgia are working to tackle issues like cyberbullying for tweens and teens. They're doing it by pushing for new legislation that will require kids to get parental permission to access certain media platforms. Denise Dillon has those details tonight.
First and foremost, they say children under 18 should need their parents' permission to access social media accounts.
We want to keep our kids safe.
State Senator Jason Anavatare is a dad. He worries about the negative impact of social media on teens and tweens and knows it can contribute to mental health issues. Senator Anna Vitarde is writing legislation that would require parents to sign off on which social media platforms their children can use.
It's just an opportunity to empower parents to have greater control over that social media content that a lot of minors are accessing.
Senator Anna Vitarde also wants social media companies to remove features they know to be addictive to children.
From a parental standpoint, this is a no-brainer.
Emory University professor David Schweidel has studied the negative impact social media can have on kids, especially when it comes to cyberbullying.
Because of social media, you're not able to escape that, right? You're always in contact with these individuals.
He also says there's no doubt about it. It's addictive.
Their platform, by design, is addictive. Right? That's how they keep us coming back. That's how they're going to be able to keep on serving us advertisements.
The plan is to partner with school systems and social media companies as the final touches are put on the proposed legislation.
Making sure our kids and kids all over the state are safe and protected when it comes to social media.
Senator Anna Vitarde plans to introduce the bill during the 2024 legislative session. In Atlanta, Denise Dillon.
And it has been such an active week so far with severe storms that have been rolling through. We're not quite done with some of the active weather for the rest of this week. Temperature-wise, though, currently 91 degrees in Macon, 90 in Forsyth, 89 in Cochrane, 90 in Milledgeville, and 93 degrees down in McRae. Though when you factor in the humidity, many areas feeling like they're in the upper 90s, even in the triple digits, feeling like 103 in Americus and Montezuma, 101 in Edenton, and even still feels like that triple digit mark in Warner Robins. We will still have to deal with some of this high, potentially dangerous heat through areas where it doesn't rain for the next 5 days or so. So let's go live on our Wilson Bryant Heating and Air Skycast Network, looking at over Mercer University. Just some fair weather cumulus clouds out there today. Not going to have to worry about too much rain for tonight, but it's still pretty hot. We've got a west wind right now at about 7 miles per hour, so a little breezy. This system of complex of storms that we're tracking that's moving through the Tennessee Valley right now is bringing some severe weather through areas in Alabama, but I think that this trajectory is going to be staying to the east, so we won't be clipped by this particular system, but we have a few more that we're going to have to work with for Thursday and into Friday. The rest of tonight, though, should be pretty quiet. 91 degrees at 6 o'clock, 88 degrees under partly cloudy skies at 8, and temperatures will be cooling down into the mid-70s through the overnight hours tonight and getting ready for Thursday. Now out the door tomorrow, we could have a few sprinkles. Some of the models are showing that we could get some storms as early as 8 o'clock for areas north and west of Macon, but most of the day, just an isolated chance for some storms or two, and then at 2 o'clock, getting a few more storms bubbling up. But the greater confidence comes on Friday morning. We're expecting more heavy downpours to be moving through on Friday morning. So instead of the storms being in the evening like they've been for the past few, we could get some morning storms for Thursday and into Friday. So it could be wet out the door Friday morning with some heavy downpours, rumbles of thunder, and then it clears out by around 2 o'clock on Friday. So not going to be a washout of a day necessarily. Now, we still are going to have to deal with the high heat with areas where it doesn't rain. Tomorrow up to about 105, but Friday and Saturday we'll be into that dangerous category nearing 110. We have to be above 105 for a heat advisory to be issued, so we might get some of those over the next few days, but we're really dealing with temperatures in the triple digits for the next 5 days. So it will be hot at times besides areas where we get some of those storms. So for tomorrow, some scattered thunderstorms around in the morning and then a few bubbling up in the afternoon, going up to a high of around 95 degrees, but with that feels like temperature feeling well into the triple digits. And in a 10-day forecast, we'll keep the rain chances for Thursday, 95 degrees for the high. Friday, we're expecting those storms to be coming through in the morning hour. We could still get a few bubbling up in the afternoon, but mainly for the morning up to 94 degrees. For the weekend, it's looking like a normal summertime pattern. Some afternoon storms firing up on Saturday with a high of 95 degrees. Sunday, a few scattered PM storms up to 96, and we'll keep the rain chances in the forecast on Monday with an isolated storm or two. 96 Tuesday, we rinse and repeat up to 94 degrees, and Wednesday, a few isolated storms around again, 94 degrees. And lastly, here's your Harrison's Body Shop Fish and Game forecast. Peaks at 10 a.m. and 11 p.m.
All right, thank you, Ryan. Into the local crime news. Middle Georgia handling 2 possible bomb threats in the past 24 hours. One coming just a few hours ago in Monroe County. A construction crew discovered an unusual device with a yellow cord with explosive written on it After further investigation by the bomb squad, it was determined to be an explosive that had been used by a previous construction crew to perform work on that property. Now, this comes after a suspicious package held up traffic and disrupted business for Macon Country Club yesterday. That package was found at the entrance to the Idle Hour Country Club neighborhood on Forsyth Road. Explosive specialists from both federal and local agencies came out to inspect the package. It was determined not to be a threat. Instead, first responders also on the scene told us the hard shell case contained a breastfeeding pump. But as an extra precaution, the bomb squad destroyed that package. Bibb County deputies are investigating a string of robberies last night, one of them happening at Bags & More on Riverside Drive around 10. Deputies say an employee was leaving the store with a bag of money when she was ambushed by a masked man carrying a gun. He then snatched the bag and ran off. No one was harmed during that robbery. Bibb investigators still on the hunt for who held up employees at a local supermarket as they robbed the place. The sheriff's office says around 7:30 last night, two men came into the family supermarket on Houston Avenue with guns out. They put all the employees in a break room, but one clerk was taken back to the register to get money. Once the robbers got the cash, they took off. Just 30 minutes before that robbery, two other men robbed an auto parts store in South Macon. Investigators say one of the men went into the store around 7 armed and demanding cash. Once he got it, he ran away with his accomplice outside the store. If you have any information on either of these robberies, any of them, contact the Bibb County deputies or Macon Regional Crime Stoppers. One person was sent to the hospital after being shot in the leg in Dublin last night. Officers say the victim was shot at Southside Package Store. Anyone with information is asked to call the Dublin police. A former U.S. soldier from Dublin has been indicted for stealing a military Humvee and crashing it into a building at Fort Stewart in July. Tremont Lacey is facing multiple charges, including theft and damage to government property. If convicted, Lacey could spend up to 20 years in prison. A speeding violation leads to a drug bust in Twiggs County. Deputies say they stopped Justin Taylor for speeding and smelled marijuana from the car. Upon questioning, Taylor admitted to having marijuana on him. Deputies then searched the car and found 36 pounds of marijuana. Taylor is facing speeding and drug trafficking charges. Well, indictments stemming from the Georgia 2020 election case could come as soon as next week. According to CNN, Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis is set to present her case before the grand jury over the 2 days next week. She's been lining up witnesses to appear before the grand jury. Willis could seek several indictments, potentially with racketeering charges over how President Trump and his allies tried to reverse the election results in the state. Trump has repeatedly attacked Willis, claiming now that she's racist. Trump wants his 2020 election subversion trial moved out of Washington, D.C., but he may face some long odds there. Trump's legal team argues the Republican can't get a fair trial in the overwhelmingly Democratic capital of the nation. They're eyeing West Virginia, where Trump was easily put in re-election mode in 2020. But the judge overseeing Trump's trial refused to let any January 6 rioters do so, arguing jurors' political leanings don't mean they can't impartially consider the evidence. Trump's GOP rivals agree, with former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie saying Sunday,
my view is, yeah, I believe jurors can be fair. I believe in the American people, and I believe in the fact that jurors will listen fairly and impartially.
If Trump's case stays, it will take place less than a mile from the Capitol, where his supporters rioted on January the 6th. Tonight, another document dump of Hunter Biden's business records released by the House Oversight Committee. House Republicans say they've now identified more than $20 million in payments from foreign sources to members of the Biden family and their business associates, and that they have the bank records to prove it. Christine Frizzell has poured through those records, and she brings us an update on what we're learning tonight.
It's the latest example of what House Republicans call a pattern of corruption. The just released documents show multiple payments, often in the amount of $83,000, from the Ukrainian gas company Burisma to Rosemont Seneca Bohai, totaling more than $3 million. That account also received a payment of $142,300, the exact amount Hunter Biden reportedly paid out the next day to buy a sports car, seen here on thedailymail.com. The latest memo also detailing another $3.5 million from the widow of a Russian oligarch transferred to Rosemont Seneca Thornton.
They really did set up a myriad of dozens of LLCs through which to flow the money. And it was clearly designed to obscure the fact that money coming from overseas, particularly China, but also Ukraine and even from Russia.
Hunter Biden's former business partner Devin Archer revealing in closed-door testimony last week that Joe Biden, who previously denied any involvement in his son's business dealings, listened in on phone calls over speakerphone and even appeared in person at 2 business dinners, including this one at Cafe Milano in Washington, D.C. Though Democrats call the assessment overblown, highlighting other aspects of Archer's testimony, including that the elder Biden, then serving as vice president, never discussed business.
It was all casual conversation, niceties, the weather, what's going on. There wasn't a single conversation about any of the business dealings that Hunter had.
Democrats accusing Republicans of trying to turn the attention away from former President Trump and his mounting legal troubles, as Republicans hint an impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden could be coming to Capitol Hill this fall.
We're all the American people have with respect to getting the truth about what the Bidens really did to receive the millions and millions of dollars from foreign nationals.
Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer vowing to follow the money. This latest release, just one part of that effort. In Washington, I'm Christine Frizzau.
GXA is proud to help Middle Georgia families struggling with diaper access this summer. As a part of our Sinclair Cares local initiative, we're hosting our summer diaper drive to help local families. You can make a difference by scanning the QR code on your screen to make a financial donation, or you can head to one of the 7 donation bins found at Kroger locations across Middle Georgia and Vineville Baptist Church to drop off diapers. All proceeds stay local and will benefit the Colby Center here in Macon.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Gary Thigpen, and I'm here again today at the Jones County Animal Service here in Jones County, and I'm joined again today with Jennifer and Jacqueline, and guess who we have for you today.
Today we have Nathan. He's about 8 months old. He's a pit mix. He's really good with other dogs.
Yeah, very playful, full of energy. I'll let you know that.
Yes, and he is looking for his forever home.
All right, you heard that. About 8 months old, pit mix, and he's very playful, full of energy. So if you would have got a big backyard that you could just put him in and let him run off that energy and spend time with the kids, Nathan would be the one. So Jennifer, if someone would like to adopt Nathan, how would they go about doing that?
Yes, come down to our office located at 1015 Monticello Highway, and we'll get all the paperwork filled out and get him in his new forever home.
All right, let's go ahead and do that today. Let's find him a really good home, folks. Let's take care of that, and I know that he would certainly appreciate that great home. Thank you so much, Jennifer and Jacqueline.
Thank you.
Well, some dedicated Subway fans are willing to take an unusual name in exchange for free sandwiches. Last month, the fast food chain announced the contest, with the prize being a lifetime of free Subway to whoever legally changes their first name to Subway.
Subway Mirando.
Subway Mirando, Subway Lloyd. Well, the chain says nearly 10,000 people have offered to do so. The period to enter the contest is now. A winner will be chosen later this month. Subway says the winner will also be reimbursed for the legal cost to change the name.
I mean, hey, free food forever. I mean, that might not be a bad idea. You
But
could
changing
be
your Subway Mirando. I guess you wouldn't have to go by it, but
yeah, you wouldn't have to go by
seriously,
it. I think
yeah.
I would go by it on TV. I could be Subway Mirando. I could be like Sub. We got Sub,
Subway
meteorologist
Miranda.
Sub standing by. But it'd be like just Subway. Maybe like you wouldn't even say your last name, so you could be like a Madonna moment, be like, I'm Subway.
this whole thing makes
Nice
my
to
head
meet
hurt.
you.
I've
I'm
got to tell you, I
Subway.
need a Tylenol. That's going to do it for WGXA News at 5:30. Subway and I appreciate you being here.
Don't forget to like and subscribe from Subway and Greg Lloyd. Bye.